Well, hello guys, and welcome back to another Nintendo Thoughts On video. Earlier today, around, what was it, like 3 o'clock Pacific time, we got an ARMS Direct. I was busy, and I wasn't able to see it until just a few hours ago. I found out a lot of stuff on Twitter, but let's just, it's about midnight, this probably won't go up until about 2 a.m., so let's just talk about it. So, ARMS. I've said before, I'm excited for this game. I do think it's interesting, but I'm holding my breath. I wanted something. If you don't follow me on Twitter, I recommend checking me out on Twitter, because I'm trying to use it more often. And when DNA Man was revealed, I was like, this is cool. This is exactly what I wanted. All I need is some hint at a single player mode, and I think this game will get me. And while we didn't really get that single player story mode I wanted something more along the lines of something like Mortal Kombat X. You know how Mortal Kombat X has that story mode where you go from character to character, finding out the greater story? Something like that. Or even, what's another good example? Or even like a Punch-Out style story mode, where you're trying to climb the ranks and become the best, right? I wanted something like that. And we didn't really get that, but yet everything here I still really like. And I actually really liked this Direct. So yeah, did it convince me to get... Well, I was probably going to get ARMS either way, knowing me, being the mindless Nintendo fanboy. But this did convince me that, yes, it will be worth it at the end of the day. It actually started off, interestingly enough, where, they were asking, oh, where do arms come from? Why do people have arms? Nobody knows. Science can't figure it out. Are people born with them? Is it aliens? Who knows? It's an interesting start, and because that's what I wanted. I kind of wanted to know more, because they hint at more. It's the whole thing with the eyes. If you pay attention to the eyes, a character like Mechanica, whatever her name is, and a character like Spring Boy have two different types of eyes. And I was kind of curious, why? Well, it's the arms, but where does this come from? It's hinting at this greater story. And while I don't know if we'll actually find out our answer, it's interesting nevertheless. I think it's aliens, personally. Alright, but we get our whole ARMS 101. At first they went into, each of the characters, and they were like, oh, this is Spring Boy, this is, Mechanica, this is Master Mummy. And they give us a little hint at, their stories, right? Ideas behind them. Master Mummy is searching for his family, or something like that. It's the little thing, it's little character development, because these characters really don't have any, but they are a very interesting variety of characters, which we'll get back to. And we get our first new character of the Direct, King Cobra, or Kid Cobra. So when Splatoon came out, I remember hearing the joke, the picture of Steve Buscemi, where it's like, hello, my fellow kids. That's the joke people made about Splatoon, because it was very 90s oriented. It was all about being cool and hip and fresh. Kid Cobra reminds me of exactly like that. He'll put down his selfie stick and his skateboard, and the only reason he's in the ARMS tournament is to get more viewers on his live streams. Yeah, until Nintendo copyrights them, because Nintendo's a bunch of cunts. Seriously, fuck them. They're making a thing about live streaming and all that. This is probably just something the Treehouse did. But seriously, screw them. You can't... With the policies you have, you don't have the rights to make a joke like this. But it gives me that vibe of, hello, my fellow kids. Very, very out of touch. He's honestly my least favorite of the three characters. Yeah, he's my least favorite. He's not bad. I do like the idea of snakes. Okay, cool, whatever. He's a skater. I will admit, I do like his arena, because every character has their own arena. And we see his, and it's like a skate park with these giant boards that while you're fighting, you can you can ride on them. And that's actually really cool. I really like that. But that's about it. Right? And we'll get to the other characters here in a minute. But we get to see the versus mode, which is it's kind of like the online stuff. There's a fight mode, which is your standard fight. There's also health perks and stuff like that. There's a team fight, which it does like the only game I can think of that does this is Skylanders, weirdly enough, where it tethers the fighters together. So if one gets hit back, the other gets hit back with them. It's okay. That's an interesting take on it. They had volleyball, which that actually looked really fun. It's hitting a volleyball back and forth, but using the extendable arms. It's simple, but I like it. I like the idea. Same thing with basketball, or hoops as they call it. It's basketball. You have to grab your opponent and then slam them into the net. Yeah, no, that's actually not a bad idea. I actually kind of like that. It's simple, but it seems fun. We got skill shot, which is just the target break that we saw in the previous direct. It's competitive, but whatever. There's a 1 versus 100 mode, which is basically the 1 versus 100 mode from Smash Bros. You know, where you're fighting you're fighting these weird like DNA man like people kind of, but like you know how in Smash Bros you fight the Miis, right? We see that doing these modes will get you money that you can then use to buy arms. And I have to point this out because this is amazing. I haven't seen a game do this. Well, I mainly only play Smash Bros. But what happens is, right, as you do this mode to unlock more arms, if you get a duplicate arm, it'll actually stack and make the original stronger. So there's a point to getting duplicates. Yes, thank you. Oh my god, that's amazing. The idea, because if anyone who's ever tried to get everything in Smash Bros. Knows it's a pain in the ass, because you get to a point where you're just getting repeats. You keep getting the same trophy over and over again. But in this, it gives you a purpose. It gives you a reason to get the same thing over and over again. It doesn't feel like a waste. This is so great. Yes, I'm totally on board with this. And then we got our 2 new characters. We got two, technically kind of 3 more characters. We got Bite and Bark. It's a cop, like a robot cop, and a little dog. He's got a little dog that shoots an extendo glove out of his mouth, and he's a robot cop. I'm assuming people love this character already. The dog is cute, the sunglasses. I think he's okay. Right? It's whatever. It's... I do like the design. I'll give it that. And then the other character we got, which... Okay, so I think I said in a previous video that one of the characters I wanted was a character with, like, a rose with, like, vines for arms. But I had the idea... Well, another idea is they could do a character with hair, right? Where their arms are hair. But I thought that would look weird, right? Because it's hair. That's kind of weird. But how they did Twin Tail is so genius in my opinion. Because she has normal human arms, but her twin tails are arms, right? They have the boxing gloves and all that. That is genius. I love it so much. It's so cool. It's my favorite of the characters revealed today, and probably my 3rd favorite character in the game. Maybe even 2nd. DNA Man. He's now called Helix. Helix is his Western name. I don't know. I like DNA Man. But yeah, no, it's genius. And I also like her power where she does the Bayonetta thing of being able to slow down time. That's really cool. All right. And we get our overview of the characters, which only 10 characters. But I like all 10 characters. We have a very diverse cast here. And I know people have been making this comparison, and I'm going to make it as well, because it seems apropos. The game is like Overwatch. It has that very diverse cast. Anyone can get into it, right? You've got characters of all different races, genders, ethnicities, all sorts of things, right? Anyone can relate to this cast in some way, shape, or form. That's kind of one of the things Overwatch did that made it big. I hope it's not the only thing that made Overwatch big, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's really important. Which, it's Nintendo. So I like to think Nintendo wanted to do the whole Overwatch thing because Overwatch is kind of busy consuming all money in existence right now. So Nintendo wanted to get on that hype train, but they already had a shooter franchise. So instead of going the Paladins route, or, well, I guess Battleborn, depending on how you look at it, they decided, hey, we're going to take some of these ideas like the cast and whatnot and make a fighting game instead, all a Punch-Out. And the more time I see this game, the more I open up to it, the more I'm interested, the more it wins me over. So yeah. And we still got more here. There is a Grand Prix mode. This is our single player mode, kind of, I guess, like the Punch-Out thing, kind of, where you have to, you know what it compares to the best? Smash Bros. I can't remember the name of the mode. It's been about a year since I played Smash Bros. But that mode where you go around the board, it's not the board game, but where you have to go and you have to fight different groups of fighters, rack them up, get them to join your team in team battles. And then once you beat like 10 fighters, you get to the final thing and you have to fight Master Hand or the Swarm, the Master Fortress, stuff like that. That's exactly what this reminds me of. You have to do 10 challenges, and then when you get to the end, you fight a sort of final boss guy, which is a character we've never seen before. He's the Shao Kahn of this game, I guess. But yeah, I don't know how well it'll hold up in the grand scheme of things, but at least it's something. And by this point, I was already won over by the Direct. So this multiplayer, even though this is the single player mode I kind of wanted, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter that much. We found out that using online, up to 20 players can play at once. In like a single lobby. Not like all in the same battle, but like you can get into a lobby and some players will be scooted off into one arena, some into another. That's really cool. It also makes me hope that Splatoon gets a tournament mode. Not like Smash Bros. Smash Bros. Tournament mode kinda sucks. But more like Mario Kart 8's tournament mode, where it's just you playing, you get points for winning, and it's just you trying to climb the ladder. There is a ranked mode, which, again, this is a game that, much like Splatoon, is meant to hold itself up on the multiplayer. There is technically a single player, but at the end of the day, the multiplayer is what matters, right? But there is a ranked mode, which is it's a ranked mode in like any other fighting game. You gain ranks. If you win, you go up. If you lose, you go down. But another comparison to Splatoon is this game is working off of the Splatoon model, where it's a game that has a good amount of it has an okay amount of content, but when you buy the game, like Splatoon, you bought Splatoon, which was like let's say it's a $30 game, but it has a built-in $30 season pass for all of the content down the line. It promises more stages, more weapons, stuff like that. ARMS is doing the same thing. It's probably, I'd actually more acquaint it to a $40 or even $50 game with a season pass. And they promise new fighters, new stages, and new ARMS down the line. That's okay. Yeah, I like the Splatoon price, the Splatoon model, because it kept me coming back. It keeps you it's not like the game, you can play the game for however long you want, but it gives you, but for someone like, it reinvigorates new life into the game. That doesn't mean it doesn't hold on its own, but it's always nice to have. And then they left us with one last thing. Well, they left us with an announcement that they're doing a global test punch. It's the global test fire, but it's with ARMS, right? And you can play it. They're doing it on 6 different days, which the first set of days I actually won't be in town, so I won't get to play them. But hey, the second ones I will be able to, which this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted a global test fire because I wanted to play this game. I was curious to what it felt like. And now we'll get to know. Okay, that's awesome. I've already downloaded it on my Switch. And then they left us off with a small little trailer. And at the end of it, we see this weird head thing and it pops and it flies, hits the stadium, probably in the Grand Prix mode. and it has like 6 arms. It reminds me of like a skeleton. It looks like that upon farther inspection. But when I first saw it, my thought was like a Medusa character, right? A character with, instead of snakes for hair, it has arms for hair. Maybe I'm just thinking of, maybe it's just Twin Tail that's got me the idea. But it's the master fortress of this game, basically. Yeah, it's interesting. And then to end off, right, so that was done with ARMS. We did get a trailer for Splatoon. And it's a story trailer. We get to see a lot of stuff in the story. Well, we get to see some levels. I like how it opens up with Marie. It's like, oh, you may know of me from the famous Squid Sisters. Ugh. She's jaded. That got a laugh out of me, okay? Because they've been doing that whole Squid Sister stories. I've only read up to 6. I know the 7th one is out. I have yet to read it, however. But at the end of 6, spoilers, who cares? Callie just goes missing. Nobody knows where she is, right? Probably something comes from that in 7. But it's so your adventure through Octo Valley is to either get her back, or there was this poster that we saw at the end, which does have the thing with the silhouette with the glasses, which is probably Callie. She's probably been brainwashed and turned evil. That wouldn't surprise me. And I find it interesting because if you read the Squid Sisters stories, it's all about, Marie won the Splatfest and Callie didn't. And maybe they weren't really drifted apart by it, but maybe they were. Maybe the Octolings are feeding off of Callie to make her more evil by using the fact that she lost the Splatfest. But it's interesting because in an alternate world, Callie won the Splatfest and Marie is the one that would have been kidnapped in the story. Just think about that. It is good. It's nice to see in-game consequences affecting it, right? The Splatfests had greater meaning behind it. But it's a cool story trailer. We see bounce pads, those platforms. God, I'm forgetting the names. But platforms that increase your speed, grind rails. That was really cool. I'm excited for both these games. This was. Even though it was a small direct, only like 22 minutes, it did a lot to prove its worth. It was really good. And yeah, I'm just excited. ARMS is less than a month away now, so only time will tell. But with all this being said, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.